Hello and welcome to Broken Entertainment. Today we're going to go over another Snyder Cut teaser trailer. Um, so I'll just watch it and let it play on its own, and then we'll go ahead and I will pause it at one point, and then we'll go ahead and get into why I've come full circle on Zack Snyder. I started out really liking him. I'm a huge fan of The Man of Steel, even though it's got its flaws, and I like Batman versus Superman, even though it has even more flaws. But, I came to the point where it was just too dark. It didn't seem like the Superman and the Batman that I was familiar with. And for a long time, I was fine with him being done. Didn't care about release of Snyder Cut. And then all this stuff started to happen. And I started to read him talk about his vision, what he wanted to do, and I started to see these trailers, and especially that first one that came out. And I realized what he was planning on doing, or at least I think what he's planning on doing. So we'll get into that after the trailer, though. Let's go ahead. There we go. So, a couple things I really like here. And the first one of those is not this shot or this shot, which we've seen. Although this is a much better one than what we saw in Justice League. There's much more to it, and I do really like that. This is a villain, right? Why in the world they took Darkseid out of the Justice League copy that hit theaters, I do not know. It's kind of like they took Steppenwolf out of the end of Batman vs. Superman for some reason. Even though Steppenwolf was the one driving Lex Luthor insane, and it kind of explains like the whole movie. And then, Joss Whedon made his copy of the Justice League, and he takes out one of the greatest villains of the DC universe. And quite frankly, he looks awesome. And not only does he look awesome, his henchman over here looks creepy as hell. This guy back here looks cool. The banners in the background, the whole area looks awesome. And, he's got the glowing Omega Beam eyes going on. And he's huge. Just a total badass. And I don't understand why they changed all of that. I understand they wanted to make it brighter, they wanted to make it more family friendly, but you're going to take out Darkseid? Like, the whole plan was for a series of movies leading up to a final confrontation with Darkseid, and you turned it into fighting Steppenwolf and saving the day. And Superman and Flash racing. I don't understand it. I just don't. And then the other thing, this looks kind of familiar. Batman shooting the parademons. But, look at the detail on this. This parademon exploding here. This one over here. It happens so fast when you watch the trailer. And then, I don't know what that is. It looks like something destroys a tower. And is that... I wonder if that's the effect they used in the theatrical release. That dome that went down over random town number 37. I don't know what that is. That's interesting. And then the Flash running through time into some kind of Awesome Thing. Those are all really good shots. And, in 18 seconds, I'm more interested in this version of the movie than the one that hit theaters. 18 seconds. And not even the full 18 seconds. This right here and this right here. I'm more interested than I was in the original movie. I don't understand. I know that Batman vs. Superman didn't do very well, but how do you take this guy off of a long-term plan and then just kind of do random crap? Because that's what they did. They got rid of him and they didn't replace him with a Vision. They replaced him with movies happen, things and stuff. Oh, and just now, they're finally coming out with a plan of like, okay, we're gonna do a multiverse thing. You can't make a franchise without a plan. I'm sorry. And you had one, and you threw it away because one movie didn't do well. And Batman vs. Superman's got problems, okay? Doomsday looks terrible. And there's no build up to Doomsday, there's no payoff. And I was originally critical of Zack Snyder because I'm like, he's just doing stuff without building up in the way that you should for a franchise. But when you see this and the other stuff that's come out around the Snyder Cut, and you're like, oh, no, you had a plan the whole time. You were building up to something. Now, Doomsday could have come back at another time, maybe, but I mean, the death of Superman's not the route I think he should have gone. But when you see that his plan was to build up to fighting DC's ultimate villain, and that fight, that build-up is what would ultimately forge the team together. Not just coming together as a group, like what happens, but actually forming bonds and trusting each other with their lives. And I think what we were doing was a reverse of the normal story. Normally, things start out bright and happy and get dark. I think, based on the evidence we have so far, and without any additional knowledge, I think he intended to make it to start out dark and tell the story essentially of the rise of Superman. Because even in Batman vs. Superman, Superman was a hero, but he wasn't the global phenomenon that he is in most movies. And the rise of Superman would have pulled the world out of its darkness. I think the direction he was going, so that by the end of the story, you have the DC universe people are familiar with, and I think that would have been great. Unfortunately, that requires patience. It requires trust. And I think they lost their trust in him with Batman vs. Superman. Maybe he never fully explained the idea. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't like it because they thought, we need to get to be like Marvel, like right now. And he was going, no, we're going to do it in like 4 movies, 5 movies, whatever it was. So, those are my thoughts. I could be wrong. And I think we're going to learn a lot more in the coming days, especially once it hits HBO Max, and once we see people's reactions to it. There's a lot of cautionary talk about, there's probably not going to be a sequel, so it's going to end on a kind of a cliffhanger. But my instinct is, if the Snyder Cut comes out and does really well and is popular, we get the sequel. I think HBO Max and Zack Snyder don't want to commit to it without knowing that. You know, if it comes out and blows Wonder Woman 1984 out of the water and is really popular and is worth the hype, I think there's no way you don't make another movie. And then we get to see this vision come through. And I think that would be great. And because they're doing the whole multiverse thing, they don't have to change anything, right? You can still do this on HBO Max and do the other movies and just explain it with the multiverse. So, just my thoughts on it. I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't think I would, but the way Zack Snyder has acted towards fans, the way these trailers have looked, I'm really excited to see it. So, let me know what you think. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time.